the Glock 42 Baby Glock. I noticed they were all just going left.
It shoots to the top left.
Now the 10 yards, Jesus.
Look at this. That's all over the place.
I was thinking, holy shit, I need to redo this one. And I gotta be honest with you, I gotta be honest with myself. If I shit the bed, you know, it is what it is. Hey everybody, welcome back to Conceal Carry channel. I'm Grant McLean. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a awesome unboxing, tabletop, and range time review of the Glock 42 Baby Glock. So I'm excited to share this information with you. Before we jump in, make sure to hit up our friends over at Northwest Armory. Go to nwarmory.com if you need to get a gun shipped to your local FFL. Have them do that. Also, you can pop into the store. If you do, tell them that Grant over the Conceal Carry channel sent you in. They're going to take very good care of you. And say hi to Khaki. The other people I want to say thank you so much to is X-Hunt Targets. They have been awesome to work with in our collaboration for the precision targets. And if not today, but very soon, that coupon code CCC Holiday is going to expire. So jump on their website, order up some targets, use the CCC Holiday coupon code, get 20% off before that expires. All right, make sure to hit the thumbs up, hit the like, help us out with that, and then also hit the subscribe and the bell notification if you haven't already. And then if you like the video and everything we got going on here, of course, share with your friends and family so that way we can get up in the YouTube rankings and get more people good information about the gun community and also concealed carry weapons. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this Glock 42 little Baby Glock. So if you go to the store and you buy this gun, here's essentially what you're going to expect. You're going to expect the hard case, which I like because I hate when guns come in cardboard boxes, and at least you have something decent to transport it in. You'll probably still want to get something that locks, though. Pop that open and check this out. It's pretty straightforward. Open the box. You got your Glock sitting there right on top. There she is. Yay! It's like a little baby Glock. Pretty dang cute. You have two 6-round mags. You have a little magazine loader. You're going to get your cleaning rod and cleaning brush and your lock. Inside the envelope underneath the foam, you're going to have your owner's manual and some other paperwork. Pretty simple as far as that goes. We're not going to pop that open because this is a brand new gun, and we're going to keep it that way because it's going to find a new home after this review. Let's go ahead and talk about this pistol here. Kind of break down the specs real quick for you. So it's a Glock 42. This is a fairly new model to the market with Glock. The 380 has been a popular model outside the US, and now it is here in the US as of the last few years. And it's a 380 single stack, kind of their last ditch gun in a certain way. It's more of like a very close defensive gun or a backup carry type of gun. Certainly is a defensive concealed carry type of gun, that's for sure. This thing is tiny. It does come with those two 6-round mags plus one in the chamber there. And you have a 3.25 inch barrel. The length on this gun is 6 inches, and the height is 4.1 inches with the mag in it without an extension, and the width is less than an inch at 0.95 inches. The weight on this gun is less than a pound, empty. It's 13.8 ounces, so this is a very light gun, very concealable, very small. MSRP is $549. However, you're going to see these at dealers for about $100 less than that. So I've seen them anywhere between $430 and $470 at dealers as far as that goes. So there's not anything too different about this gun versus other Glocks. Glocks tend to be very cohesive through the entire lineup. So we're going to jump into the gun and break it down like we usually do from the sights all the way down to the base pad. But first, let's talk about this range time, because this was very interesting for me. All right, so we did our usual 3, 5, 7, and 10 yards. And the 3, 5, and 7 yards were actually quite good. I would adjust the sights on that gun to me, because I noticed pretty much right from the bat they were all just going left.
It shoots to the top left.
And as the target got further out, it went further and further left. So decent groups, 3 yards, 1.7 inch group, 5 yards, 2.4, 7 yards, 1.9. I mean, look at this. All three of those rounds right in there, almost stacked on top of each other. Now the 10 yards, Jesus.
Look at this. That's all over the place.
That, I didn't even do the groups. I just put a sad face next to it. That thing was so bad. You know what? I was thinking in my head, I was like, holy shit, I need to redo this one. But, that would take away from my honest feedback, my honest review. And I got to be honest with you. I got to be honest with myself. If I shit the bed, it is what it is. And I don't necessarily have like a reasoning for that, other than this is a common thing for micro, compact, more subcompact. I almost feel like this is a subcompact, not necessarily a micro, because, and actually I'll talk about that here shortly. But let's talk about this 10-yard freaking disaster. When you have guns that have shorter sight radiuses, and also when you have a gun that has kind of a funky sights, so these rear sights, these U-notch sights, they can leave a lot of room for error. So you're on the target, but you don't know exactly where on the target you are. And when you're shooting 5 shots in 2 seconds, it's not like you take a shot and then you look and go, oh, okay, where am I at? Where am I at? No, it's 5 shots, 2 seconds. This is supposed to, in a certain way, be a stressful situation. Home intruder coming at you. You're just let me light this threat up. That's basically what you're doing here. Yeah, it's kind of a spray and pray type of thing, more so in a controlled distance. But definitely feel that could be much better. I mean, you can't get much worse, that's for sure. I feel that it can definitely get a lot better at that 10 yards. I was pretty disappointed in myself. I was like, oh my God, I need to redo this. But hey, it happens, and it's going to happen to the best of us, right? So definitely get some practice behind the trigger with that. Obviously, 10 yards, that's kind of pushing it for such a small gun. I understand it's fun to shoot guns like this way further out to really impress your friends, but that's not what this gun really is designed for. It's designed for kind of up close personal self-defense. Let's go ahead and talk about the gun itself, kind of break down the pros, cons, things I wish it had, things that I think they did well. That way you can decide on whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you and make a little bit better of an educated decision. So when I was talking about the subcompact size versus more so kind of like a micro compact size, this is what I was talking about. So I have the Glock 42, and here is the SIG P238, and you can see how much smaller that is in the barrel length right there. And then the grip is about the same. It depends on which configuration of 238 that you get. But this is considered a micro. Here is the P365 XL, which is just a little bit larger. And this I would more so consider to be a subcompact. The regular 365 is going to be actually smaller than this, and that's considered a micro. So, of course, you always want to go to the store and get this in your hands before, you really say it's going to be for you or not. But if you're looking in the micro compacts, I would say consider this. This is, as far as 380 goes, a good size. It's not too big to where you might go, it's bigger than I want. Some people are going to run into that with like the Shield Easy 380 because it is a bigger 380. But then, some people are going to go, I want something a little bit bigger than, say, an LCP or a Bodyguard. And, those are micro compacts. So I wouldn't necessarily put this. If you're looking at the subcompact and the micro compact, I would definitely take a look at this, especially if you're looking at a 380 size. The sights on here are the polymer sights. They are the U-notch sights with a white dot in the front. Nothing too crazy there. That's pretty typical of a Glock. A lot of people do tend to swap those out. They are dovetail rear sights. On the bottom there, you can remove, on the front sight, on the bottom of the slide, underneath, you can remove that front sight and swap those out. It's a very popular upgrade for sure. The sights, they function okay, especially at closer distances, at longer distances. Those sights, because they are shorter, they're going to take up more of the target. So you could be on the target, you just don't have it precision as far as where on the target exactly you are. Over time, I definitely feel that you're going to get used to the sights. Plus, these sights, they're easy to push back and forth and adjust those in small amounts. When I was shooting this at the range, I would have definitely adjusted the sight to bring that back over to the right, because as you saw in the target, it was going left. Further it went out, the further left that it went. And so I had to adjust that rear sight to make sure that gets back onto center. And that's something everybody's kind of zero is a little bit different, so don't be surprised if you have to play around with that. And I've had to do that with other guns too, including Smith & Wessons and SIGs and stuff like that, just being a little bit off. But hey, that's kind of the fun of getting to know the nuances of the gun. The slide, it's okay. They didn't do any beveling on this one in the front, so it's boxy, just like the previous generation of Glocks. Very boxy look. Some people really like that. I wish there was front serrations on the slide. Why not? It just kind of helps with the manipulation of that slide. There's rear serrations on the back, and they're okay. I wish they were wider, just a little bit wider, because it's such a small gun that the more kind of surface area that I feel you have, the better it is to get a grip on. So I wish that they would have just done a little bit more on that slide. The coating on the slide, it's okay. It's not anything like super special as far as that goes, which is a little disappointing taking the price point on the gun. I kind of expect a little bit more, but it'll work. As I've said this many a times, I feel that Glock is more about functionality than aesthetics, and this is a great example of that. No misfeeds or anything like that at the range. Of course, Glock is known for their reliability, and I feel that this is going to be just as reliable as any of the other Glocks that they have released. Let's go ahead and jump down into the controls. So you have your ambi magazine release, so you can flip that over to the right side if you so chose to for you southpaws. The slide lock lever is not ambidextrous as far as that goes. It's just it is what it is. And the trigger is usual Glock trigger. It's if you've shot a Glock, you've shot lots of Glocks, you can kind of pick this thing up and you know exactly what to expect. Comparative to some other triggers, this trigger it's not going to feel that great. It's a very popular option for people to upgrade the triggers on their Glocks. So, kind of expect that. The trigger didn't have the serrations that I wish that it had, like on the Glock 48. If you watch my review there, it has the serrations on there. And there's other companies that make this very similar style of trigger with the safety in the middle of it that do have those serrations. And so I'm a big fan of that, and I just wish that this had it. Again, kind of in that price point, because when you're looking at $500, $49 MSRP. You know, I just expect that attention to detail to be further up there. You know, just small things like that, and it just kind of disappointingly it didn't. Including the back straps. This does not have any adjustable back straps on it, and that was kind of a bummer. We'll talk about the grip here, and then we'll do some trigger pulls on it. Let's talk about the frame. There isn't a rail in the front, which is kind of sucks, but it doesn't really matter, you know, in the aftermarket, because they found a way around that, connecting the lasers or lights to the trigger guards, and then you'll have the little button down here on the grip. You'll see that with Crimson Trace primarily, and they work well. You know, I have one that I use on my 238, and it works well. I also have one for an XDM that works well too. Around the trigger guard, it's pretty fat. I wish that the undercut came up higher. If you've ever shot a micro compact or subcompact 380, they can tend to be pretty snappy. They don't have a whole lot of weight, mass, or material there, and a lot of times the grips are pretty thin, so you don't have a whole lot of surface area in your hand as well, so they can tend to be kind of snappy and pop. I wish that undercut came up higher so you could get a even higher grip on the gun. Kind of a you know, but a Glock thing is having these fat trigger guards, and it's not uncommon for people to take these, send them out, you know, get them worked on, and then also do some stippling. The grip on this, it does kind of have that little waffle pattern grip with the squares. It's nowhere near as deep as like the Glock 17 or 19s, and I'll show you those side by side of the difference. So it has bite to it when you have a nice firm positive grip, but it doesn't have as much bite as you would find with your 19 or 17. And that's for a good reason. Obviously, if this is a concealed carry piece against your clothing or skin, you don't want it to chafe you or ruin any of your shirts or anything like that. All right, let's do some trigger pulls. It's pretty much the Glock trigger. It's about 5.5 to 6 pounds, like usual. There is nothing, you know, super sexy about it. A lot of people are going to replace this trigger and do an upgrade on the trigger, which is fine. Before you do that, though, the trigger is going to smooth out, and I have found that with my Glock 19. I have, at this point, probably about 3,000 rounds through it, and it shoots and fires, you know, just fine. It's not like my Zev, you know, which is like my Gucci Glock, but it shoots and does its job well. This trigger, very reminiscent of that. So you have your little trigger safety on the inside there, so you want to make sure that you get enough finger on there to get that fully depressed and deactivated. And we're going to go ahead and pull that, and you'll see you have some squishiness there. And it's not a light kind of take up. It does have some tension on there. You're going to hit this wall, and then it's going to come back and break. That is very consistent as far as that goes. The reset on this, nice, audible. It's not a super short reset. It's about a medium size. I would say that the reset on this gun is one of the better resets on triggers. It's audible. You can definitely feel it. It goes right back to the wall, and it's going to have a fairly clean break. It still has a little bit more take up to go, but it just pops, it snaps, and I do like that a lot. Kind of summing up the trigger, it's not a bad trigger. It's a typical Glock trigger. A lot of people are going to replace it, you know, not a big deal. I think it's definitely something that you can get used to with some good range time. I think that it's going to smooth out with that, you know, break. It kind of surprises you when it breaks under that last part after the wall. I don't see it necessarily being a bad thing. You're not going to anticipate the muzzle flip, so if you have a tendency of dipping and then it breaks surprisingly, you can't, you know, it's going to at least help you not anticipate and dip and keep those sights right onto the target. The mag release functions fine. It's ambidextrous. It is plastic, so if I were to keep this gun, I'd probably do an enhanced one with a little bit better grip, like an aluminum one. Here's what I did find, though, is I did the Glock 43 review, and it ran into the same thing where these mags kind of stick in the gun. They're kind of sticky in there. And, you know, obviously over time, this is going to kind of wear to itself. But I wasn't really much of a fan of that, is having that kind of get stuck in there. So if you don't hold that magazine release down the entire time until that mag comes out, it could stay in the grip and kind of stick in there. That's just kind of one of the things that annoyed me a little bit. So good practice would be to, you know, obviously put lots of rounds through it and run this through, and hopefully it'll kind of wear into itself. But keep your thumb on that mag release depressed all the way. I did find, because you do have to depress that mag release in pretty far, that you, even with how small this grip is, you still, or at least I, have to turn the angle of my hand out of its firing position to manipulate that magazine release. Kind of sucks, being that this is a smaller gun, smaller grip. You're kind of hoping to overcome some of those issues if you have medium or small size hands, and I didn't find that to necessarily be the case with the gun. Is you still have to kind of move your hand. Now, it is a really short grip, and you can see how my palm also covers some of the magazine. So that's something you're going to have to practice too, is getting your palm there out of the way so it can come out no problem. I wish that this was a little bit longer. You'll see that with like the shield, is it's a little bit longer, keeping your palm away from pretty much stopping that magazine from being able to release properly. And I wish that this was just a little bit bigger. Now, at the same time, the bigger you go, the more it could print, or the harder it might be to, say, conceal. And I understand that, so that's a factor that you'll have to decide on. But, gosh, the magazine release or the actual mechanism is okay, but the ergonomics surrounding that and how well it functions as a whole, that's like a 5 out of 10 in my opinion. Kind of summing things up, all in all, not a bad gun. For the $550 MSRP, I feel that you could probably get into a P238, which is, in my opinion, the best shooting .380 there is. But there's other guns definitely I would consider looking at if you're not married to the Glock brand. I would take a look at the Smith & Wesson 380EZ. That's another one that's going to be right in the same size. It has a little bit higher capacity. I would also take a look at the Springfield 911, which is kind of like a little baby 1911. In a certain way, very similar to the P238. But overall, it's a good gun, you know, and I'm not going to say anything necessarily bad about it, other than I wish that some of the fit and finishes, you know, attention to detail, and was there, especially for what I feel would be a little bit higher price point for a polymer pistol. If you have one of these Glock 42s, I'd love to hear your experience. How do you like it? I'm sure you probably shot a lot better than I did at 10 yards, that's for sure. And let us know what you think of it. Do you regret it? Do you regret getting it? Do you love it still? What were some of the things that made you choose that gun? If you did consider this gun and you went a different route, let us know your thoughts on why you didn't go with the Glock and what you did end up going with. That's definitely going to help the community of new gun buyers and people that are shopping for this gun, trying to get some good information. Make sure to hit that like, hit the thumbs up, and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. If you need to get a gun like this, visit Northwest Armory. You can go to nwarmory.com, and they can ship this to your local FFL if you're not going to do in-store pickup. If you do happen to go into the store, tell them that Grant over the Concealed Carry channel sent you in. And also, if you want to get some of these awesome reactive targets, visit xhunttargets.com. The holiday coupon code, CCC Holiday, by the time this airs, it could be the last day that coupon code is valid, or it's going to be very, very close. So it's just through the holidays that we get that extra 20% off. So make sure you go there, order up your targets after you watch this video, and you're good to go. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you for our next review. I just threw that thing out there for no reason.
If you have any questions or need help, please feel free to ask. All right, thanks. And I hope you safe.
Oh no.
Got the Glock 42. Let's go. Bang, bang. Here we go. All right. Yep. Got the espresso in. Okay. Espresso, check. Ready to do a review today. Let's go. Now, it is a really short grip. So it doesn't have, jeez, still working on it. At least I got rid of a lot of the K's. Okay. Whew, still get comments on those. Okay. Oh, oh God.